I have Dakota. He's a technician at Carver Automotive, and he's going to kind of walk us through what it looks like when a water pump fails. So how did you find the point of failure on this car?
Pinpointed it was coming from the water pump, and then also pressure tested it because they were concerned about a leak. You can actually see evidence of leak all in here. I cleaned most of it up already, but all the dried paint on the water pump and on the side of the engine is actually from that. And you can actually see a little bit, primarily in the back there, is a bunch of dried paint coolant, which Toyota uses a paint coolant for their coolant.
Cool. So when you do these, do you typically pressure test for any type of coolant system issue?
Oh yeah, absolutely. First thing we do is block test it, make sure that, you know, obviously if it's got a coolant leak, there's some sort of chance that it ran hot, whether the customer let it run hot or knew that they did or didn't know that they did. Very first thing we always do is check to make sure there's not a blown head gasket. You know, with a litmus tester through the top of the radiator. As long as that passes, then we can proceed making sure that the cooling system is intact. In this case, we did have a big leak coming from the water pump, and then also that noise. So they were concerned about both of those, which this will take care of both concerns. And then I'm going to pressure test it again and make sure there's nothing else leaking, because of how bad this leak was, I don't know that there's nothing else leaking, if that makes sense.
So before you give the vehicle back, you're going to make sure that there weren't multiple points of failure?
Yeah. Just because this one was so big, I mean, and like I said, you can look at the water pump and see how much coolant is actually on that after I've cleaned a lot of that off before I started. So that being said, I do want to double check this one once I get it all put back together. You know, because the last thing I want to do is give it back to the customer and then they have another leak somewhere else, whether it be on the other side of the engine, same side of the engine, or even you know, double check my work. You know, because not everybody's perfect, and you know, you can only do what you can. You know?
Right.
Just trying to do due diligence and make sure that everything's good. And if
it's always better to verify before you give it back to the customer and they come back. Yeah, absolutely. I completely understand that. Well, very cool. So I really appreciate you talking with me, Dakota. Guys, if you have any issues whatsoever with a coolant leak, you notice or smell any sweet smelling liquid coming out of your motor, come to one of the Main Street auto shops, get it checked out, get it pressure tested, let an ASE certified technician take a look at it. That way they can give you a proper diagnosis on what's going on with your vehicle. Thanks for stopping by.